This video is captioned, so if you want to read along, just hit the caption button. Everything's been edited and is accurate. Do you have a hard time motivating yourself? Is that what got you to click on the video? Do you have certain blocks in your life? Well, then this video is for you. I'm Dawn Super, helping people have better days through positive mental health content. So what causes the lack of motivation? What can we do about it? What causes blocks? And how can we identify and overcome them? That's going to be the topic of this video. It was requested by Lynn. Thank you, Lynn, for asking for my tips on motivating and removing blocks. A lot of people don't understand the connection between motivation and our mental health. I didn't understand it for a long time, but your mental health is just like your physical health. And there are things that you can do to strengthen it, like watching videos like on my channel about how to deal with mental health aspects of human being, being a human being. Every time you listen to something or read something that strengthens your mental health, you add a little bit more to your personal power bank and you become a stronger person. And it helps you cope with like everything that comes at you in life. I also have chapter descriptions, chapter links in the description. So if you want to come back to something or jump around, you can do that in the description. So if you could get yourself motivated to do anything you're capable of doing, would that have value to you? It would be golden, right? I used to be really bad about motivating myself. And one day I heard about the law of least effort. And do nothing, accomplish everything. And I thought, yeah, right, okay. I didn't even think it could possibly be a thing, you know? It was like one of those, yeah. So if these are the kind of videos that spark your fire, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. And I'm also doing shorts Monday through Thursday, and there's no notification for those. So if you don't see them in your shorts feed, you have to come to the channel to check them out. So what exactly is the law of least effort, and how do we tap into it to help us find more motivation? I actually heard about the law of least effort for the first time from the woo-woo source at Deepak Chopra. But there is a scientific answer too. So if you're opposed to woo things, then there is a sciencey reason behind it as well. So the law of least effort is a basic behavioral hypothesis that an organism will choose a course of action that appears to require the smallest amount of effort and expenditure of energy. It's also called the law of least action and the least effort principle. Bill Gates was once quoted as saying, "I will always choose a lazy man to do a hard job because a lazy man will find an easy way to do it." This is essentially the law of least effort. So I've had narcolepsy since I was 11, like 42 years now. And when you're sleepy and tired all the time, everything is harder. And you just want to get yourself done so that you can get back to resting or whatever it is that you need to do for yourself. So I made myself into a perfectionist, and before I recovered from my trauma, my perfectionism was not a good thing. But now that I have recovered from my trauma, the time-shaving skills that I learned from being a perfectionist helped me really tap hard into the law of least effort. I can accomplish so much more in a day than a lot of other people can. So it's because my brain is tuned to always hone my processes. How can I make it faster? How can I make it more fun? How can, I adapt it in some way so that it's better? always want it to be better. And that pays off. It pays off hard. I'm currently consulting for a wellness brand, and the to-do list is like this long. And if you don't stay on top of your stuff, then you get buried by it all. So one of the most important abilities that comes with the law of least effort is discernment. And discernment is the ability to judge well, knowing what is the most important thing to do, or what's the domino that's going to get other things moving forward. And then after that, once you get it going, you understand the skill of it all. Like, you have to be mindful about it. Like, when things start flowing from you, you're like, oh, wait, this is that like law of least effort thing that lady was talking about. And then you can see that you flow through the things a lot easier. So it comes from noticing and practicing. Like, you can ask questions like, what's going to take the longest, right? That's the thing you want to bang out. And then everything else after that is short. What do you like doing the most? That's going to be the thing that you'll probably do the fastest. Are there bits you can do now instead of the whole thing that will help you later, even though it won't finish the thing now, right? Like, can you complete some of it? Discernment is a critical component of the law of least effort. And do you feel like you have good discernment to tell what to do things when? Do you find yourself flowing through your tasks, or you get dragged back and forth a lot? Do you get pulled away? Comment and say if your motivation is that you're distracted, your lack of motivation is that you're distracted, or if it's something else. I did not flow through my tasks for a very long time. Things did not happen easy for me. I was constantly fighting with myself, and the reason was that I had a lot of blocks. So there are a ton of things that can block your motivation. For me, if I don't feel like doing something, I start with the basics. And for me, with my health issues, the basics is, do I need self-care? And after talking with so many people who have chronic illness and people who don't have chronic illness, self-care is something that is hugely undervalued. And if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. So when you don't feel like doing something, you have to ask yourself, is there something that I need right now? Is that why I don't want to do this other thing? Because I need to give myself something. So sleep deprivation affects the executive functions of the brain, which makes it harder to concentrate, stay on task, stay focused, etc. So it takes an effort, like a physical effort. You can actually feel the effort in efforting, in forcing yourself to do something that you're not really motivated to do. So are you feeling good in your head, right? Like, if you're feeling bad in your body, you could be having a negative soundtrack about that in your head. And that could be making you more tired and less motivated, because you just don't want to do anything. So check in. You know, do you need a drink of water? Are you dehydrated? I'm like almost always dehydrated. Do you need a snack? Do you need a nap? And maybe if you can give yourself whatever it is that you're needing, then you can go on and do the thing. Some other blocky feels that affect your motivation are self-doubt. You got to do the thing. I can't do the thing. I don't think I can do the thing. It's too hard to do the thing. And so you doubt that you can do it, so you don't even try. Indecision. Should I have it? Should I not have it? Should I go? Should I stay? Let's just sit here and think about it, right? Like, you can't decide what you want to do, so you don't do anything. Comparison. I can't do it as good as they can. You know, why bother if they can do it better? And those are things that you have to notice you're doing before you can do anything about them. And again, coming back to that woo phrase, mindfulness. A couple other things are habits. If you're trying to motivate yourself to stop eating junk food, but you're still buying junk food, you're still giving yourself access to junk food, then that's a habit. And you have to be mindful about your habits and see if you can find something else to do instead. Automatic behavior is a lot like habits too. Like, you know, if you're constantly, when you walk past something, you're grabbing a handful of whatever and you're eating it, that's a habit. So try changing the way that you do things. Sit in a different room if you're always snacking in the kitchen or whatever. For other things like chores, try putting yourself into the place where you need to do the thing and like thinking about it in a productive way, not in a, oh God, I don't want to do this way, but in a, oh, how could I get this done the fastest way? Another thing that blocks people is a fear of missing out, like FOMO. They don't want to do the thing because they're afraid they're going to miss out on something else. And another thing that we don't consider in lack of motivation, and this is the interesting one, is intuition. Like, have you ever not wanted to do something and then later on found out that you didn't need to do it? So if you had done it, you would have just wasted your time. That's intuition. And it serves you if you can identify it as your intuition and it works out that way. So what kind of things can you do? Covered things that keep you from being motivated. So what kind of things can you do to get motivated, to remove your blocks and move forward with things? So one thing that's super important is just to acknowledge it. You know, like if I need to get in the shower and I really don't want to get in the shower, I just literally say out loud, I do not want to take a shower. I need to get in the shower. I can't get motivated to get in the shower. And somehow just that magical verbalizing of the issue, and I'm going and I'm getting in the shower. I did a short about changing states. If you didn't see that, it's very common for us to not want to change our state of being. So if you're dry, you don't want to get wet. If you're wet, you don't want to get out of the shower. That's all connected in there. So what can we do about it? I hit my mental toolbox. I talk to my clients about having a toolkit where when things help you, you remember them, whether you're putting a note in your phone or you're writing it in a journal. If it's a phrase that helps you, like one of my favorite phrases is, everything doesn't have to happen right now. And when I'm dealing with that to-do list and something comes up, I remind myself, okay, everything doesn't have to happen right in this exact second. I've got some time to figure it out. And that helps you bring down your anxiety. And anxiety can keep you from doing things too. So the more calm you are, the better it is. And clear your mind, right? Like I clear my mind with a focus on tapping into the law of least effort. When you have nothing on your chalkboard, there's plenty of room for equations. So get rid of the noise in your head and clear your mind. So when you get into that inspired action and you're flowing through things, you find that you're like, oh, I'm done already? And not just with that pint of ice cream, because I know I've put away several pints of ice cream that way. But it's inspired action and mindfulness. Like you get all of your chores done, like, and you don't normally. Like this last Saturday, I had all of my chores done before noon. I was like, who am I? That doesn't usually go that way. Another example of inspired action is I was supposed to get new beds for my boys, and I couldn't find the motivation to do it on the weekend, so I ended up getting them on Tuesday night, and there was a sale. So my procrastination actually saved me money. So when you can forgive yourself for not being motivated, like not be hard on yourself about it, that also helps with the law of least effort. Having a negative soundtrack is a definite motivation killer. So sometimes you don't do things for reasons that you can't understand at the time. So it's getting me right here. It's getting me. Do you know how to clear your mind? How to make it quiet inside of your head? Some people can meditate and some people can't. If you have a negative soundtrack or 100 tabs open all the time or constant chatter going on in your brain, and you can't meditate, I did an hour-long video. It's kind of like an online class. It's called Killing the Monkey in Your Mind. And I'll put a link in the description. If you can't turn off the noise in your head, I highly recommend that you add it to your watch later and just watch it in bits, because clearing your mind gives you an immense amount of personal power that you'll never achieve until you get rid of that negative soundtrack and the consuming thoughts inside of your head. Music is my go-to for pretty much everything. I live in my headphones and I love my headphones, and I play my music low enough that I can hear people talking to me over the music, and it's loud enough that when I don't want to hear people around me, I can focus on the music, and it helps me pick up my mood and keep myself motivated. Be your own cheerleader. Come on, you can do this. When you're trying to motivate yourself to do something, we tend to lean a lot more toward you suck than you can do this. So if that's you, try the you can do this. Just try it. Little experiments. Try every little thing that you can try, and the things that work, they go in your mental health toolkit. Make deals with yourself. I do this sometimes. Okay, if you do the dishes now, you can stay up late and watch Netflix. You know, little compromises that you make with yourself, they can give you the motivation to do it. I do it with my kids too. Hey, do this and then I'll do that for you. And we trade chores, and there's motivation in that for them because they get out of doing something and they do something that's easier usually. Okay, make it a game, the thing that you have to do, especially chores. Like if you have to do your chores, try to see if you can beat your time, right? Usually you get this done in a certain amount of time. See if you can do it faster. Do more than one thing at a time. I'll be doing like 5 different things in the kitchen, and you're doing, what the benefit of that is, sleep deprivation causes a little bit of ADHD, but as a neurodivergent individual, a little bit of ADHD is not a bad thing, because it means you can do 5 things at the same time and complete little bits of them while, like a conductor in an orchestra where you're managing all of the different instruments, and then you have this beautiful music playing and the law of least effort and the dishes and the meal prep and dinner for the night and some lemonade and all these other things get finished in the same amount of time, rather than having to do them one thing after the other. Working in the restaurant industry for a decade helped me with that too, because when you're making a meal, you need all the people's food to come out at the same time. So try it. Sometimes you might have a basket of clothes while you watch television or something like that. A basket of clothes while you help the kids with the homework. You can do 2 things at once, and it makes it go by faster. Another tip for helping motivate yourself is to get an accountability buddy, somebody that you can communicate with, sharing what needs to be done and by when, and then like kind of check in with them, like how's it going. And like I have an amazing friend group, highly recommend a little friend group of people who are vibe the same as you do, to have conversations with, etc. And I get a lot of motivation from that, a lot of support from that. I can talk about the projects that I'm doing and work things out with them verbally, and helps like foresee issues. And when you know that you might have a problem that you can solve before you even get started, that really helps with your motivation. Sorry about my throat. Another great thing to do is a reverse to-do list. Sometimes we just don't want to do our to-do list, right? So you go back and you think about the things that you've already done, and you write them on your to-do list. Because there are things, I'm sure, that you didn't think were significant enough to put on your to-do list, or things that you completed over the weekend before you started your to-do list. And you just add them on and then cross them off. And sometimes it helps you like feel proud of yourself because you did already accomplish a bunch of things, but you weren't thinking about those because you still have so many more things to do. And feeling good about yourself is always a great motivator. Always. That's why music is so great. If you can get your mood up, you're definitely more inclined to do the thing that you want to be motivated to do. And of course, there's a lot of more reasons why people lack motivation. And there are a lot more tools available out there to be had. So this was just a little smattering of them. I do one-on-one coaching. So if you want help with finding motivation and removing your blocks, you can check out my website, dawnsuper.com, for my packages for coaching. I do also have 130 videos on this channel that are all related to mental health, overcoming trauma, being a better person, finding yourself, humaning along on this little blue spinning rock. So I do long videos like this every Friday. They're, anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes, whatever. So if you like digging into a little positive mental health content, hit that bell and subscribe and come back. I'd love to see you. Comment about, what you liked about this video. That would be great. And if you're into shorts, look for me on the shorts feed or come directly to my channel on Super. Checking my notes here. Next week I'm going to be talking about self-love versus selfish versus ego. I got a lot of comments and reactions on that one last time, so it's obviously something people are interested in. And I'm also going to talk about music as medicine. I've overcome a lot in my life, and music really helped me do that. And I like to share certain songs and words of encouragement and why they really resonated for me. This week, shout outs. Oh, here we go. Shout outs. I want to thank Christine Stanton, Lynn Stryker, Brian Ramerty, Sydney S., Ben Jackson, Jacob Douglas, Evelyn Richard. Thank you so much for your comments here on YouTube. My channel is growing, and it's really nice to see several of you repeat commenting on several videos, commenting every week. Really looking forward to building a community of people who really care about their mental health and care about feeling good and understand we only have one life to live, and we should definitely try to enjoy some of it. I'd also like to give a special thanks to the people who support me on Facebook. Some of my Facebook commenters on my videos are Christine Forrest, Brian, Ben, and Jeffrey Nix. So thank you so much for all of your encouragement, and really helps me a lot to keep wanting to do this. I really enjoy it, but it's good to know that people are actually like getting something out of it. So thank you for that. Make it a great day. The choice is always